are yesterday. The yesterday personality can only be changed to better the following day. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko. This is Smart Means Business. You are watching Smart 24 TV. Hope you're doing okay. Let's start off here. Now, the New Vision highlights that the government has released 134 billion Ugandan shillings. These are for roads. This takes up in regards to road maintenance as well as construction of various roads. According to it, there's a full list of beneficiaries and the cities plus districts inside here. If I'm to give you some of the key highlights from this particular one as well, to clearly see which districts are set to benefit from the 134 billion Ugandan shillings. And if we're to look at this steadily, there is one, Arua City Council, Fort Portal City, Mbarara City Council, Masaka City. Quite a number of cities are going to benefit from these particular funds. Kapchora, Kalangala District, Mitiana Municipality, Gulu District, and all those particular ones. Then there is Lamore Districts, Lamore TC, there is Padibe. All of these particular ones are going to benefit. Namaingo District roads as well are going to be well tarmacked and as well maintained by government. So this particular 134 billion Ugandan shillings is not only going to go to the construction of these other roads or new roads, but as well looking at the maintenance of the various roads across the country. The Daily Monitor. According to the Daily Monitor, there are claims of mentally ill MPs, which, according to the finding, is not true, that they are mentally ill MPs. I don't know whether you've heard about that one, but this is according to the Daily Monitor. A study says, no, it's not right. Then Uganda sides with Saudi Arabia in the US OPEC war. As the government said yesterday, it stands by the decision of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries to cut crude oil production by 2 million barrels per day to stabilize global prices. This is another big story from the Daily Monitor, and that is still with the press review. Lots and lots of other situations coming in from these particular papers, and that is it from the perspective of print media in Uganda. Now let's head to the SMB International News. All right, now with the international news, we head and kickstart it off from Ghana, as the Ghanaian cedi, which is the national currency of the West African country, which is the biggest cocoa exporter in the world, is now the world's worst performing currency. But on the other hand, also the Kenyan shilling is also struggling steadily. Now, Ghanaian cedi slumped on Monday to become the world's worst performing currency this year as investors continue to squeeze foreign capital into the West African country. Now, the currency of the world is second biggest, oh, did I say fast? No, it is the second biggest cocoa producer, depreciated as much as 3.3% before pairing the loss of $11.275 in the capital of Accra. Now, that took its losses this year to more than 45%, which is the most among 148 currencies that have been tracked by Bloomberg. Now, the decline of the cedi has accelerated since the beginning of the year, as Ghana has for the past 2 months been in informal negotiations with the International Monetary Fund for an extended credit facility with the hope of receiving $3 billion in loans over 3 years. Now, the International Monetary Fund has been slow to yield to Ghana's request, as they require a debt sustainability plan before lending the country its requested billion bailout. The country sought help from the International Monetary Fund after losing access to the Eurobond market this very year, and as homegrown policies, including cutting 2022 discretionary expenditures by up to 30%, failed to stem a sell-off in its international bonds. Now, the premium investors demand over U.S. Treasuries to hold Ghana debt, which has widened to 2,669 basis points. Now, on the other hand, holdings by foreign investors in outstanding domestic government and the corporate bonds fell to 12.3% at the end of August, the lowest ever from a 2022 peak of 17.3% in April, according to Central Securities Depository Ghana data. Now, the nation's domestic bonds are trading at an average yield of 41.9%, which is the highest in emerging markets according to indexes that were tracked by Bloomberg. Now, on the other hand, Ghana, which is the world's second largest producer of cocoa, is not reflecting on the financial market space. Now, when you look at the situations here, the Ghanaian cedi is performing totally and completely badly in the last few months, and it's now performing as the world's worst performer, and has been noticed as the world's worst performer against the dollar as well, as the Kenyan shilling also struggles. Now, speaking of the Kenyan shilling, takes me to crisis from the Kenyan shilling now. As we head to Kenya, the Kenyan shillings has seen Kenyans grapple with historically low shilling and soaring US dollar. Now, this, on the other hand, is also seeing the East African community country, the East African community's biggest economy. Now, the impact of a strong US dollar is being felt as it contributes to making other countries' imports even more expensive, and more local currency is needed to convert into dollars. This, on the other hand, is compounding financial distress at a time when the Kenyan shilling is down 6% this very year, according to the benchmark ICE US dollar index. Now, the dollar is up 18% this year, and again, as a basket of key currencies. Now, also breaking it down here, as you look at this, Albert Chenge says that they are continuing to lose, and this is affecting most of them. Albert Chenge, Kenyan, in there. Now, the cost of fuel and imported spare parts is soaring so much that some people have apparently chose to ditch their cars and use public transport. I believe in the last few months here in Uganda, the same situation was happening, whereby the fuel prices were really high, where Ugandans opted for public transport, which was way cheaper than maintaining all the car costs and the fuel costs in regards to moving and transportation. Now, the same situation is happening in Kenya. Now, to combat the United States inflation running at its fastest rate in 40 years, the Federal Reserve in the United States raised its benchmark short-term interest rate 5 times this year, with worldwide consequences. So most of the countries, and of course, speaking of all the countries, Uganda inclusive, are definitely feeling the pinch in one way or the other, but our neighbors in the east seemingly facing it rough at this particular moment. Now, Kenya's central bank also raised its benchmark interest rate by the biggest margin in more than the 7 years last September. The currency of East Africa's largest economy has been sliding to record lows against the dollar. Now, as of October 18th, $1 US sold at 121.1706 shillings, when on August 2nd it was selling at 119.0118 Kenyan shillings. Now, many other currencies are also doing bad. When you look at the Indian rupee, has dropped more than 9% this year, and that has also seen a drop against the dollar. Now, the Egyptian pound is 20%, has received a 20% drop. Then the Turkish lira are now standing 28%. Now, on the other hand, ordinarily, countries could get some benefit from failing currencies because it makes their products cheaper and more competitive overseas. But at the moment, any gain from higher costs is muted because economic growth is sputtering almost everywhere. And that is more from the situations coming in from the Kenyan shilling and the Ghanaian cedi. The two are currencies, and looking at the financial market space of these two countries, they are struggling from there against the dollar. Their performances against the dollar quite questionable in that, but the space is still favorable for most of the people to tap into. All right, now lastly, from the SAB International News, we head to our neighbors in the north, in South Sudan. Now, this time around, the oil and gas sector in South Sudan is picking up, and South Sudan's oil sector is pulling in more deals apparently. And South Sudan's oil and related sectors are still attracting enthusiasts in spite of the publicized problems, including on revenue sharing. Now, who earns what? Who earns what? When you look at the Ugandan oil and gas sector, we've got percentage points in here. Uganda and Tanzania taking 15% of it, and then China's national oil and offshore company CNOOC taking the 8%, and then we've seen Total Energies taking 62%. Now, on the other hand, 2 weeks after the South Sudan Oil and Power Conference in Juba, firms have been publicizing their deals from the forum meant to drive business and investment in the country's oil production. Now, several agreements on financing oil exploration and production, oil refinery and infrastructure development were inked, according to a prospectus from the Petroleum Ministry. In one of the deals, the South African Nile Orange Company was offered the Jongeli Estate oil. However, details of these and other agreements were not made public. And South Sudanese Kushbank signed a deal worth $75 million with AIS Capital Advisors for power distribution and management. Now, looking at the other situation, Leonard Matthew, who is the managing director of AIS Capital Advisors, said the agreement will create a domestic value chain that enables us to control costs. This also, on the other hand, delivering power at stable rates and without interruption. Now, South Sudan is the major oil producer in the East African region, but its nearly total dependence on the oil has made the resource a curse. Now, due to fees and obligations owed to oil farms, South Sudan is 170,000 per barrel production per day, means it only earns value worth 50,000 barrels of oil per day, with the rest paying up advance payments of contractual obligations. Yet critics also charge this revenue, and of course this revenue arrives and sometimes it's also stolen, according to details coming in from South Sudan. In August, President Salva Kiir fired Central Bank Governor Moses Makur Deng and Finance Minister Agak Akul over empty coffers in the ministry. And the South Sudan Oil and Power Conference, in its 5th year, welcomed a larger audience of global and South Sudan energy professionals, as well as the leaders, taking advantage of easier post-pandemic levels. This year's event emphasized the important role that energy companies play in ensuring growth of the economy and personal plus professional growth of the citizens. That's it from the international news and international updates coming in this very morning here on Smart 24 with your daily Kickstarter. Smart means business. Let's get some motivation time. And I'll kick off with the business tip of the day. The business tip says, tell your story visually. Visuals can help your message become quite actionable. If you look at this, things like video, whiteboards, images, or other pictures will show you how your prospect's problem will be solved with what you're selling. By using images, you create contrast, which can create the feeling of urgency and which will help you close that sale of yours. Well, okay, tell your story visually, they say. The visual reality and the world that we're living in is creating opportunities that you can easily relate to communities and to your buyers in a simpler way. In other words, sometimes when you look at the visual reality, and if you're to comprehend all the matters that happen or come through during your business transactions and all that, you get to realize sometimes people want to affiliate themselves to things they can easily see. They want to affiliate themselves to things that they can easily feel or that they can easily touch. Now, if you can't touch something, sometimes you realize you at least want to see how effective it's going to be. Now, when you look at people who normally advertise via social media, people actually end up engaging in skit making, skit playing and all that. You know why? Reason is because they want to ensure that the easiest way, and when I speak of being easy, that the easiest way for people to understand that your product is going to solve this particular problem is for them to see how it is solving it. That is why people put a lot of money in advertising. And with the current situation and current competition in the world, you get to realize it's very important for you to at least see how you can tell your story visually. Let people feel by seeing what you are actually going to deliver, the services, the job you're applying, rather the job that you're offering, or the product or good that you're selling. That is the tip for the day. And then let's get that quick morning motivation with our business quote. Samuel Beckett, Irish avant-garde novelist and playwright, says, ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better. So if you've tried and you've failed, all that doesn't really matter. Try again tomorrow, fail again, you're failing better. And every failure that is better means there is an advancement of success in the long run. So as you're failing today, your failures will not be the same unless when you're just consistently doing the same thing. Because today, if you're doing something wrong, you will definitely know that how to survive failure is by upgrading or doing something better tomorrow or the other day. And it's the same thing with this quote. Ever failed? Ever tried? Do better. Make sure you're doing better every other day that passes by. Do better. Keep on adding something to yourself. Keep on adding something to your life. That way things will be making their way into your life easily and more affordably, and you can definitely kickstart off your day. The opportunities are there. Like we keep telling people here, every new day starts with new opportunities. The opportunities are many. And how do you create these opportunities for yourself? That is it. You create the opportunities or get into those opportunities that are available and you're ready to go. And that is it for the business quote as well. Now, speaking of opportunities, like I tell you, every other day these opportunities come, and how do you strengthen yourself? How do you make good use of the money? Now, the Zabo platform is here for you, and with Zabo the advantage is quite enormous. What you do is very simple. Use your NIN to register with Zabo. Zabo is a product of Altex East Africa, and Altex East Africa says do something new. With Zabo, your money is definitely your future. Markets open at 8:15 a.m. and close at 3:15 p.m. every working day, Mondays to Friday. These markets are closed during weekends and are also closed during public holidays. But of course, you can make your money count with just a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings. You're all ready to invest. Your NIN speaks a lot in regards to registration for you to open up an account. And obviously, after opening up an account, in the next 24 hours, you are ready to invest. Zabo, my money, my future. And besides that, this coming month of November, the World Cup returns to your screens, but how best can you get it in the comfort of your living room? Easy. Get yourself a GoTV coder or decoder with GoTV at 25,000 Ugandan shillings this very month. And it does come with a free month of GoTV value. But not only that, if you want to watch all 64 games live and in HD, all the 64 games of the World Cup 2022 Qatar, the best way to do it is to upgrade to GoTV Super with 39,000 Ugandan shillings. That way you're definitely going to be watching all the 39 games from Qatar as you pick the team that you'll be definitely supporting. Will it be Africa, Senegal? Will it be Argentina, Mexico? Or will it be Brazil? All those particular ones. Get that fire burning in your living room. GoTV, love it. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko here with Smart Means Business. Follow us on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Instagram, we are smart24_TV. Our website is www.smart.tv. Then as you get into our YouTube channel, we're streaming live on Smart24 TV Live as well. Please do remember to subscribe if you've not done so. Our Twitter is Smart24 TV, Facebook Smart24 TV Official, and as well you can link with us on LinkedIn. Let's drive business from that particular space. On mainstream, we're on DSTV channel 372, GoTV channel 394. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. After the break, I'll be back at the top of the hour with the Coffee Call discussions. Good morning.